Hi, this is Allie from the Perception Trainers, author of The Perception Diet. And today I want to talk to you about something that I think is just really practical, really grounded advice, really needed information in kind of what we're all seeming to be going through right now, with regards to wanting to wake up, wanting to move forward in our spiritual paths, wanting to become the highest, best, most amazing versions of ourselves, wanting to connect with our highest self. And I feel like so many people that I talk to are on this journey. They're on this kind of awakening journey. They're kind of on this spiritual path. They're on even a health path where they're starting to take responsibility for their diet and their health. And I think that it's really amazing to see so many people wanting to take responsibility for their lives and wanting to become the highest, best, most amazing versions of themselves that they can be. And I feel that as someone who has also wanted to be my highest and best self probably my whole life, I feel like I have something that I really want to share with everyone today, and something that I really, I hope that you take some time to consider and just allow to integrate into your being. And what it is that I want to say today is that I feel the most important thing you can do, and the most important thing that I really invite you to give yourself permission to do, is to love yourself where you are, and to accept where you are, and to deal with what is in this moment. And so what I mean by that is, first, I would like to invite you to, instead of comparing yourself to where other people are on their spiritual path or on their health path or on their personal development path or whatever, to just allow everyone to be where they are and be okay with that, and know that that doesn't have anything to do with you. And in a sense, and I really mean that, it has nothing to do with you. And if you can allow yourself to just let go, first things first, of where other people are, and believing that it has anything to do with where you are and where you should be in your thinking or in your physical expression or in your spiritual path or anything like that, if you can just let that go, you're going to take a huge portion of the pressure off of yourself that you're probably not even aware is there right now. Because the thing is that once you start comparing yourself to other people, and once you, even just for a moment, just think, oh man, they're thinner than me, or they're more, spiritually advanced than I am, it sets you up to almost have an unconscious then rule in your mind that you can't accept where you are anymore. And it's funny how it plays out, and it's funny how it works, but it's just that you might not even be aware, you might not even be consciously aware that you're beating yourself up or berating yourself or telling yourself you're not good enough, simply because you've taken on this idea that comparing yourself to other people is something that you have to do, and that unless and until you're the best one in the room, you can't be satisfied with yourself. And like I said, I really think that for most of us, this is totally unconscious. You're not actually thinking the thoughts oh, I'm not the most spiritual person in the room, therefore I can't love and accept myself yet. But it's a subconscious thing, okay? So the first thing, is to really just give yourself permission, honestly, consciously give yourself permission to stop comparing yourself to other people, and to give yourself permission to be where you are at right now. And like I said, really saying to yourself, where they are has nothing to do with where I am. And that's perfectly fine. And then the second thing is to deal with what is in this moment. And this is something that I see is the most common thing ever, I think, in the spiritual development and the self-development and health development communities, is that we all want to be 45 steps ahead of where we actually are. And when we try and race ahead on our path, when we try and take on teachings that are not where we are right now, or when we try and when we create a hierarchy as though there are some people here on this planet that are more spiritually developed or more whatever, and we are less than them, and we want to be where they are at, or we want to reach this certain level of experience, or this certain level of enlightenment, or this certain level of understanding about the world, or whatever. We look at other people's experiences, say like we look at other people's meditation experience, and we see that they're like talking to angels and all this stuff, and we think that we're less spiritually advanced if we're not having that experience, and we want to jump from where we are, in our meditation, where maybe we sit for 5 minutes and we're excited that we didn't think about, our grocery list for 2 minutes, to having the experience of like, let's talk with angels. Like, when we do that, when we create this hierarchy, which again, just like, it isn't real. It isn't real. It doesn't exist. There's no hierarchy. There's no spiritually advanced people versus spiritually not advanced people. We're all just having our experience. So if we can stop doing that, if we can just give ourselves permission to be having the experience that we're having and to deal with what is in our lives right now, we're going to do ourselves this huge favor. Okay, and like the way that I think about this is, think about in the past. Think about when we were much more developed societies, and we had things like mystery schools, and we had things like mystery schools and teachings that weren't, not only were they not mainstream information, they were literally like, you get kicked out and killed in the mystery school if you share this information with people outside of the school. And that wasn't an elitist thing. They weren't doing that because they thought that like, we're so much better than everybody else, and let's have all of the spiritual knowledge just be for us special people and not for the people in their everyday life. The reason that they did that is because in order to fully and completely utilize spiritual teachings and knowledge and things that come through when you're on this path, you have to have a vessel of self-love built. Otherwise, everything comes through this filter of self-hate, and everything comes through funny and weird, and you either use your spirituality then to run away from what's actually happening to you in this moment, or you interpret it totally differently than it was meant to be interpreted, because your level of understanding or your level of perception is different than the teaching is meant to be taught at, and therefore it becomes self-destructive rather than self-constructive. Okay, so Gabriel Cousens talks about this when he talks about building the vessel. So you can think of yourself like this beautiful, perfect vessel, and the experiences that you're having on Earth are essentially, they're filling in the cracks and filling in the holes and filling in the little bits of your vessel that maybe weren't strong before and maybe weren't fully formed before. And as you do this, so as you take care of your physical health, that's building your vessel. Okay, that is not less spiritual than the person who's meditating and have a conversation with angels. That is exactly the same amount of spiritual, or whatever you want to call it, enlightened, as anywhere else, because that's what you're supposed to be doing right now for your vessel. And think of it this way. If say, what's going to come for you on your spiritual path is like a fine wine or a fine grape juice, if you're raw vegan or whatever. It's a fine, amazing liquid that's super valuable. You wouldn't pour that into a vessel that has a bunch of holes in it, right? Because it's just going to leak through. You're not going to be able to hold it. You're not going to be able to retain it. You're not going to be able to integrate it into yourself. And this is exactly the same thing when you try and rush ahead on your spiritual path, or when you try and rush ahead on your health path, or when you try and rush ahead on any path you're on, is that all that's going to do is it's just going to create frustration in yourself. It's just going to create all of this stuff coming through that you can't hold. And you're gonna attract this knowledge, and you're gonna attract these teachings, and you're gonna find these teachers that you think are all so bright and shiny, and you're gonna hate yourself because you're not gonna be able to actually like retain or obtain anything that they have to say to you. Or they're gonna say things to you, and it's gonna make you feel guilty, or it's gonna make you feel shameful, or it's gonna make you feel like they're blaming you or telling you that you're not good enough, when in fact that's not what they're trying to say at all, right? Because your vessel isn't ready for it yet. And again, that's not to say that it's not good enough or that you're at a lower level. It's just to say that what you're experiencing right now is the most important thing for you to be experiencing right now. Okay? So don't rush ahead on your journey. Don't rush ahead on your journey. Don't rush ahead on your journey. Don't compare yourself to other people. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where they are. It has nothing to do with you, where they are. Okay? The only thing that matters to you is where you are. And the second thing is stop having this idea that some people are more advanced than you, or that you want to rush ahead to having these experiences that you're not having. Because your vessel is so much more important than that. And building yourself from where you are in this moment is so much more important than that. So if where you're at right now is that you're in a sick body, deal with your sick body, okay? Don't rush ahead to meditations where you're talking to angels. Deal with sick body. Deal with what is happening to you right now. And then after that, deal with your emotions. Learn to be in the discomfort of your sadness. Learn to be in the discomfort of your anger. Learn that you don't have to pretend to be all loving and all compassionate when you don't feel that. Learn that it's okay to be a human, and that it's okay to experience what you're experiencing. It's okay to express what you're experiencing, and that it's okay to be who you are and where you are in this moment. Like, it's a gift to be able to experience all of these things and go through all of the processes on your path. It's amazing to do that, okay? Don't rob yourself of your experience. Don't rob yourself of your path by rushing ahead. Don't rob yourself of what it is that the universe is trying to offer you now, the little bits of gold and treasure that are in your path in this moment, by not being here, by trying to run ahead and be somewhere else, okay? Like, this, I think, is the most important spiritual teaching we could give right now, is just to be where you are. Actually be where you are. And this is what they mean when the spiritual teachers tell you to be where you are. What they mean is, if you're sick, don't try to go and read the most advanced spiritual texts. Go read stuff on health. Go figure out why you're having such a difficult time eating right. Like, be where you are. Experience this experience. It's no more and no less important than any other experience. We made that up. Okay? We made up that there are spiritual hierarchy. We made up that there are levels that are more important than other levels. Like, it's not real. You gotta let that go. Okay? So just be where you are. And by be where you are, I mean experience the experience you're having. Deal with what's in front of you. Deal with what's actually happening to you. Don't run away from what is in your reality. Don't fill your reality with a bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with where you are right now. It's not going to help you. It's not going to serve you. It's going to make you feel frustrated. It's going to make you feel bad about yourself. And it's going to make it so that you miss the experience you're meant to be having right now, which is just going to prolong it, which is probably not what you want, right? Deal with where you are. If you're at the level where you need to deal with your body, deal with your body. That's sacred. If you're at the level where you need to deal with your emotions, deal with your emotions. That's sacred. Okay? Deal with where you are. And then your path will pull you. Don't worry that you're going to miss it, because you're not going to miss it. You can't miss it. It's perfect. It's divine. You're divine. You can't miss it. Okay? Be where you are. Deal with what's in front of you. Allow your path to be where it is. Take the pressure off. Everyone else has nothing to do with you. Focus on building your vessel. Okay? That's just my message from today. I just felt really strongly that I needed to communicate that. If this made no sense to you, that's fine. Comment, question down below, whatever. And again, yeah, if you guys have things that you guys want me to talk about, let me know. I'm totally open to suggestions, and I'm happy to expand upon things that maybe sounded confusing or didn't make any sense. Like, if I didn't make any sense, let me know that, and I will expand. Okay? Thanks.